Oh. Working? Oh. Oh my. Hey, what do you know? I I think it's working. Nice. Right. Get that up, and then we need to go to. Uh... Okay, hold on, hold on. I'm actually just fixing some things midstream. Hold on. It's been a while. One second. Do I drag this to the other window? Like this? It works. But what about stream chat? Hold on. Guess I put this here. Oh yeah! Hold on, hold on. Oh my god. You see... hello, hello. Hold on, I'm just I'm just setting things up. Everything's out. Alright, do my menus work? Oh, my OV, it doesn't work. Oh no. It means I have to do with the floating windows. Shoot. These work. I guess I float this in world. And then I put the opacity really up. No, that's the size. Hello. There. Turn off flying. Yes, nice to see you too. 1 second, it's... Alright. It's been a while. Where are you from? I'm from the Philippines, but 1 second, okay? I'm not sure if I'm getting frame drops. That's the thing. The music is very Roman Empire, crowning another king. Yeah, right. Do you play games? Yes, yes, I do. Axiom. Nice to see you. On. Everything's stable. I think it is. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna add this to your library. Let's look for some desert music. Desert. Is desert spelled with a... Oh yeah, guys. Is the music louder than my voice? Or is this a proper level? I can set it down a bit. Like here. Like this one. Jojo. No, we're gonna play some Journey. Hold on. Filipino ka ba? Yes. Magandang umaga, guys. Good morning to you. We're having a little bit of a change in the usual environment. It's more of a desert-themed area, of course. It sounds okay. Alright. What's this? Ooh. Kinda dig it. Maybe a bit bigger. Okay. Master Floof. Hello. Oh dear. Wait, hold on, guys. I'm actually just setting up the stream at the moment, so. Ah, also, thank you for the follow. You look like you're in Prince of Persia: The Sands of Time. That is not incorrect. If you're wondering why we are currently in the desert, it's because this coming weekend is furality umbra. So I was taking photos earlier to see if my outfit was befitting of the theme. Uh-oh. 1 second. 1 second. Off topic. Did you seriously walk towards the desert? I mean, yes. yes. I'm. Good morning, Kuya. Good morning, everyone. Did you guys miss me? We are up to 47 viewers in the first 6 minutes of stream. That is crazy. Let's see if this works. Isn't that right? All right, time to read chat. Big bro, can you smile? Pop you for no, of course not. What are you talking about? Do we have a Lamborghini? Not yet. Why, if it isn't Doki? Nice to see you. Welcome to the stream. Why is there so many watching? I don't know. How rich are you? Just because I put on a jacket, I immediately look rich? So I look really poor in my previous form? Nah. Oops. What is this OST? Nice goggles you have. Thanks. We waited for you for 3 days, says Iover. That's why there's so many watching. I'm sorry, I was busy doing some avatar work. Fixing things here and there. How high can you throw the coin? Not so high. See? Well, you can put it. Ah. I have mixed feelings about the music, but it's a good change of atmosphere. Hi there, Tommy. What other tricks can you do? He's obviously an Arrakis. What's his connect? It's definitely a desert, though. Ah. No, I'm not thirsty. I love the whole fit, says Tommy. Thank you. I wish I could show like wider version of where I am, but as usual, we're stuck with what we have here on TikTok. Yeah, it's sand gets in my nose and the yes. It's so cute. Sand got in my eyes, my ears, and my mouth. Oh my. Also, happy Pride. That's true. It is Pride Month, isn't it? Ah, yes. Or the corporations are gonna go wave that rainbow flag and pretend like they care about us 100 million%. Are you throwing a coin in real life as well? I am certainly imitating the gesture though. You're part of LGBT. No, I'm straight, but I sure love my LGBTQ friends. Good morning. Does that coin ever miss my hands? Well, that depends. If I lose concentration, then yes. How do you do it? Like that? Are you in Dune? No. I am in the ruins of Typhoon. How do I say this? Let's see. I'm not sure you can see it, but... Uh-oh, and I messed up my camera. I shouldn't have moved. Oh well. Where is my camera anyway? There. The recommendation for the fur is it will change based on the weather and temperature. Being dark furred ain't exactly the best for hot environments because it is going to absorb the heat more than, say, a lighter color. Bye, Kylera. Also, thank you for the roses, Maxima and Ken Blue. I've been reading the replies a bit late. Good morning, Wendell. Ah, yeah. I don't know, Drake. Why? Ah, I'm early today. Yes, I am. No, actually, I'm late. What time is it? I can't see the time. My interfaces doesn't work properly in this desert planet. Normally, I would be able to see the time and other information as long as I raise my wrist this way. Unfortunately, I can't do that. Yes, Leia. But Sign is a bit not of a partner. Well, Blaze, there's not much I can do. I've been born black and cyan, and not exactly something I can dye to a different color. What's my favorite country to go to? I I actually don't know because I haven't really been abroad. Hi there, Gail. Good morning to you. Because your messages doesn't make any sense. You're lucky my mods aren't online at the moment, or you'd be sent to a different planet altogether. Dergi, says Zelarina. Hi there. Who messaged me? Why is it black? I can't see the messages, so. Zyover is asking, did it rain in my location? No, not today. Are you live on TikTok as well? Yes, I am. Not only am I here in widescreen land, I too am in the constraints of verticality that TikTok has. How is there Wi-Fi in the desert? It's called satellite internet. Do you speak Tagalog? Puede, pero depende. Yes, Alexi, what's up? How are you doing today? I am cooling down because earlier I had to do a lot of avatar work. I had to fix my clothes. I had to, do a bunch of other things. That coin flipping is new. Suits the theme. So you're a bit irritated today. No, not really. A bit tired, yes. I won't be doing much streams this coming week because I have to prepare for stuff. This coming weekend is gonna be a 4-day event. It's gonna be furality. I'm gonna be there all 4 days. I shall try my best to reach you though. Is TikTok paying you already? Yes. It's furality this weekend. It's this weekend. It is actually 6 days away. I hope you're ready. Do you have an outfit plan for furality, Doki? Speaking of which, we have yet to run into each other in game, huh? Say hi to Lucario. 52 viewers. Wow. Welcome to the desert, guys. I'm shy. I don't come online unless requested. I request you to come online politely. Is it nice in the desert? It sure is because I'm far away from zero IQ chatters. Well, maybe not because, well. Your coin sounds crunchy. Interesting. So, without any lo-fi music playing, without me sounding all super sweet and how they call it, soothing, the viewership is actually higher. It's new. You want to touch these ear? I mean, you can if you're in VR chat. Hold on 1 second. I'm gonna take pleasure in doing this. It's so nice to be able to ban guys straight out of Saturday morning. There we go. Where were we? You changed a little bit. Yes, I am readying up for an event this weekend. Well, not this weekend, next weekend. It's gonna be furality umbra. Nice desert themed, something like a, how do I explain it? It's like, it's futuristic, space age. Is your post in TikTok Q&A? What do you mean? Yeah, it's my previous streams. Music's a bit loud, really? Thank you for telling me. Setting it lower. I wish I had finer control. What is this music? Desert. Fantasy desert. Oh, this is better. Relaxing. What are you doing? I am streaming. Have you went to Boracay before? No, I haven't. Hello, Emmanuel. Don't mind the coin. It's my fidget thing. It keeps me focused. I've been here since your viewers were like 8 above. Hey, thanks. Are you Filipino? Yes. Your voice sounds sweet. I guess we're gonna go towards that direction again, Chad. The coin is irritating me. You know you can always just go to a different stream. No way, you're Filipino? Quite a surprise. Why would I say bad words on stream? You want to get me in trouble, do you? Also, my witch disappeared. What? 1 second, guys. There we go. It's sarcasm. I know. I know. I like the new avatar. It's still me. I just have an outfit on. Are you Russian? You know that I've been asked that multiple times. Do I even sound Slavic? I don't think I do. I'm very much Filipino, with a bit of inclination towards English. Guys, sa mga hindi naniniwala, Pinoy tayo, okay? Kumakain ako ng pares, kumakain ako ng tapsilog, pumupunta ako ng Jollibee, favorite ko yung Chicken Joy, favorite ko actually yung Dokito Burger, yung like the 80 pesos one, but yes. Yes, I am. I have no idea who Harry Potter is. No idea. I don't even know what McDonald's is. Jollibee chicken and yes, Doc. I was talking about the chicken burger and they're like breaded chicken that was available in Jollibee. Hi, how did you come up with your avatar? It says banana. Check my videos. There's a specific video tackling that question. Do you have a Discord server? Only for the worthy. Also, thank you for the follows, guys. Oh, spamming chat is not the way to get attention from me. In a good way. Thank you, Gale. 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 Thanks, Gale. Water bottle. You don't want to try a different color in your avatar? How about you go try bleaching your skin and try a different color as well, Gol? Do you like Inasal? Yes. Slice Spark TikTok. I like your avatar. It's cute and fluffy. Hey, Gib. Good morning. Hey, Kat. It's been a while. How are you? It's been so busy with house chores lately. Ah, so you went, yeah, summer break. Summer break. Yes. There's no school, there's no homework, but your parents have more excuses to order you to do stuff around at home. Oh. Ah. Ah. Your voice is fun, says Kane. Wow. Thank you. Right after he commented in the voice, he sent a follow. Whoa, there's fire now. Yes, Cat. There's been a bunch of new stuff. Okay, hold on. Let's not make the angle weird. It's okay, Clay. What region are you from? NCR. Heads or tails? Let's see. What? Oh, there goes my coin. I dropped my coin. Let's try it again. This. Oh my. That's tails. That's tails. Let's try one more. Heads or tails, chat? 3, 2, 1. Ready? Heads. See? It's the heart. Oh my god. Ace, thank you so much for spamming chat. I have a reason to ban you. It feels so good banning people. There we go. Oops, hold on. Ah. He's gone. He's gone, chat. Congratulations on graduating elementary school. You now have high school and college ahead of you, and then the most terrible of all, being a working class citizen. Sign a petition. You have such a cute smile. Thank you. Where's your moderator? They're tired, so they're asleep. Also, I noticed that my chat has closed yet again. I'm sorry. Hold on. OBS. Hello, OBS. Geb, have you ever danced to a Philippine folk dance? Yes, I have. Embarrassingly so. During my high school years. They made us strip down and don on these tribal uniforms and made us like we had to like put coconut shells on our feet with like rope on it, and I don't know why we were forced to do that. Bye, Josh. Do you usually go live at this time? I actually go live usually at 7 a.m. So I'm a little late today. Maglalatik. Yeah, it's that thing. It was. I'm never doing that again. If you need mods, Doki, I shall promote you to mod. Because I could sure I could sure use the help. Okay. How do I do that? Let me just pop this up real quick. Where is my mouse? Let's put my hands down. Doki. Add moderator. Doki, you now have full power in my streams. Congratulations. Also, I appreciate it with you being a regular and all, and you telling me about furality. That's why I think you pretty much kickstarted all of this. Can you greet everyone a happy Pride? Well, happy Pride Month, guys. You have a whole 30 days ahead of you. Don't be shy about who you are, you know. Don't let other people silence or change the way like you view yourself. Just be you. How many mods do you have? I now have 4. Doki being the 4th one. I need to give Doki a nickname. What meetups are you planning on attending? We may see it show. What's that? Thank you for the singing mic. Thank you so much, Tommy. Well, okay, where were we? What meetups do I plan on attending? I don't know. I guess the Nova Beast one. Hold on. Let me just expand chat because I cannot read some of your messages. Let's pop that out. Let's put chat here. Make it super duper large. Drag it up. There we go. Can I expand the windows? There we go. Oh, come on, a bit more. Drag it down. Come on. You have a soothing voice. Oh. What nickname should I give my 4th mod? We have Nika the Merciless. We have Jay the Silent Eradicator. We have D the Iron Coconut. Don't ask. And then we now have Doki. Let's see. I'll call her Pink but terrible. No, it sounds like she's terrible. You're not terrible. We'll see. You're such a ray of light, Kevin. Thanks. I just try my best. Oh shucks. Oh my, where did my OBS go? Come on, chat, please. Upsy daisy. There. Hindi ka namamansin. Probably because there's a lot of chatters. I have to deal with 45 people at once, so apologies if I miss some of you guys. What's that? That is a money gun. What do you know? That's super cool. Who sent it? Death by Mittens. Did I read it right? What's that? Your name is cropped and it's so small. Death by Mittens 97. Yes. Yes. Thanks. I'm gonna use it to buy water in this godforsaken land. Also, we seem to have some very soothing desert music going. Thank you for the support, Mittens. I appreciate it. Water is important. Yes, that's true. That's chat. Hydrate. I'm gonna drink water. You drink water with me, okay? Especially now the weather is terrible. Especially if you are in the Philippines. So Tommy gave 500 coins and Mittens gave 500. Wow, thank you so much. Water time. I'm just running my mouth. Hold on. Yeah, where is the water? Yes, I have water. Okay. Whoa, no, my controller almost fell. Redeem hydrate. Yes, Gail. Oh my. Okay, fine. A second sip. We have a second hydrate redeem. Oh yeah, I've been waiting for you to go live every day. Oh my. Well, here I am. Again, I'm sorry to those who just came into stream. I was busy. I was working on like Avatar stuff. Lots of Unity stuff, a bit of Blender. I'm lucky I had friends who was helping me. Axiom, if you were there, Donnie. Opinion on sparkling water. I prefer plain water. Hi there, Sienna. Welcome back. Are you in the desert? Yes, I am. I'm a big fan as a guy named Bladder. Thanks. If it isn't he like Long, my favorite content creator that I could not understand what they're saying because I think they're speaking in Brazilian or Spanish. I don't know. Welcome to the stream. I love the little talk shows you do. I try and watch, even though I don't understand what's going on. It's very entertaining. I wish there was English subtitles. I actually want to tune into the stuff you make. It's Portuguese, yes. I unfortunately have no grasp with Portuguese. Thank you, Doki. Enjoying the power. I need to add English subs back. That would be appreciated. I want to comment, but I'm like, is what I think he's saying actually what he's saying? in the streams? But yeah, guys, welcome back. I'm gonna try streaming again. Not as often this week, but let's see if I can do it like a few times this Monday onwards. Can you flip the coin heads or tails? It's a 50-50 thing. What? See? This one's heads. Heads. Tails. See? Can you control your ears up and down? Yes, I can. Yes, and I can also move my goggles, see? Ready for the desert environment. Oh, slippery. Upsy daisy, come on. Can we become friends? I believe we start as acquaintances first, MGW. Hey, Gabe, can you see me? I think my internet is slow. Yes, I can. If you're in the desert, how do you buy water? You'd be surprised. Traveling merchants often frequent these routes where I am right now. I shall put the coins you give me to good use and stock up on my rehydration supplies. Oh no, not the Gib. Gib? No, that's how Camelon calls me. Gib? Gib. Call me Gib. Ready for furality? Yes, I am. That's why we're in the desert. How about you? Did you get tickets? Are there mummies there? You know what, guys? I've just explored like the surface of the desert. I literally am still traveling like to be on site. I will be there on Friday and I will let you see and know what I see because streams are allowed in furality. Well, yeah, I did it. That's not what the director said. Gebo. I did. I'm so. It's okay. You're gonna bring. Do you have an outfit for your winter ball? You're a winter ball, right? Can we be buddies when I buy a VR headset? Well, we can start with the baby steps of friendship. It's called being acquaintances. I have an idea, says he like Long, but no way I can do what I have in mind for it. What do you mean? When is winter in your country? In the Philippines, there's only two types of weather. Really hot or really, really darn wet. Going strong with 42 viewers. Hi there, Gaben. Hanggang magkano umaabot ang presyo ng VR headset? The VR headset I have right now costed me around, oh, don't remind me, $1,400? Because I was a fool and I bought it at full price. I did not know in half a year it would drop to like 30% less. You're a proto gen now. Congratulations. You're good at Filipino speaking. Thanks. You know me, right? Unfortunately, I do not know who you are, Dominic. Quest Pro. Yes, I'm using a Quest Pro. Currently, right now, I have my vice seams disabled. The mouth movements you're seeing is purely mouth tracking. Wow. What's this? Why mute me? Well, I'm pretty sure my mod had a very good reason to do so. Make me a mod. Doki, can you give him the honor of being a mod in another person's stream? Thank you so much. Hey Venus, welcome back. So are you, Banana? What's your favorite anime? Oh wow. Probably Made in Abyss. Now that I think about it. OST, plot, characters, presentation, it made me cry. Elanglon says, funny, I'm closer to the US but ended up with the Pico 4 Pro. I was actually contemplating on the Pico. But this is my very first headset. I didn't really know the differences between the two. All I know is, hey, Quest Pro, face tracking. I got it. I got it, period. I still can't read your scarf. Oh my. Whose tracking did you use on the Nova Beast? It looks so good. Natsu, check out the fantastic team of Polygon Studios. They really go the extra mile when it comes to doing face tracking. Thank you, Doki. How long have you been streaming? You mean in general or like the stream now? I started around February, around the same time I hopped on VR chat. Pico's better hardware and is cheaper. Oh, I didn't know. Are you in VR right now, Kuya Gabe? Yes, I am. Who rigged your... Wow, everybody's asking. Guys, check out Polygon. They're the one who made it. Very friendly people. Very skilled people. Is your name Gebus? Yes, it is. Minus the E at the end. Yeah, Polygon, like paw, like with the paw. P-A-W. Why, Venus? Do you have a Nova Beast too? What's your inspiration with the design of the Nova Beast? Midna, from the Twilight Princess. Zelda. Yes. Oh, you're Yin. So, I'm not sure if they have like... I'm assuming your avatar is a Lycana? Or derivative of it. Just check out their page on Gumroad. They have like a bunch of other avatars. Really good. Thank you for the chocolate, Akira. He like Long says, the avatars work great on VTuber, even though they don't support it yet. Yes, that's true. That's what I did. So I got Polygon's face tracking. It's only really meant for the Quest Pro or like the headsets. But so I tinkered in Unity and I did a bunch of blend shape tweaking so it could work in the AR kit videos that you see me doing. Very, very smooth, right? Ah, yeah. Venus, they're the people to go to. I compared like Ad Jerry's facial tracking compared to Polygon's. Like Polygon adds a little extra touches. Like notice when I move around my ears, like my ears also move. When I frown, goes down. Very natural body language. Midna from Twilight Princess is awesome, yes. Can you do the blue fireball thing? Like the one on my Instagram? With the I actually don't have it right now. But where is how do I throw it away? What a magnetic point. Both. 3. Oh, that's how you shoot it out. Let's try it again. If you ever plan on adding more Twitch redeems, I am actually working on like a bean redeem. Much to my chagrin, a friend of mine said, "Oh, do a bean redeem. People are gonna love it." I'm okay. It seems pretty harmless, and why not? Francis Lee Dumubo. What's your superpower? Oh my, I don't know. Breathe fire. How do I do this? Yeah. Maybe a pet redeem. I think you. Yeah, and then you can pet me in VR chat. How about that? Your voice makes me sleepy. Yeah, it's probably the piano playing in the background. What else do I have here? Couch. Coin. Not much. What's this? Cat is saying I think his power is blue fire. It's a bunch of blue stuff, that's for sure. Thank you, Poppin. I appreciate the compliment. Also, Akira has been sending me fire. Fire that I can just Oh, look at Doki the Annihilator. Thank you. Also, thank you so much for the new follows, guys. What is it, Venus? What's this? Let's see. All right. Oops. Oh. Do you remember me? I do not have the brightest of memories, so I'll stick with no. My apologies. I'm gonna try and draw you again, but in new clothes. Oh, yeah, sure, I'm not stopping you. How long does a viewer have to watch you to become a usual? Let's give it 1 week. Hi, I want to follow you in every social media. I currently follow you at Instagram and TikTok. I have a YouTube and my most commonly updated Twitter. Follow me like on Twitter. I'd appreciate it if you did. Instagram is the one I update the least, along with YouTube. Eggy Spinks would like to be your friend. Eggy Spinks, are you watching? Who is this? I am seeing a Rex with a fancy hairdo and a yellow and an orange and white hoodie. What's that? Let me see. Can you post some games in your account? I think I fairly know what to do with my own account, but thank you for your suggestion. I'm back, Gib. Alright, Long. Can I call you Long or should it be he like Long? Well, let me know. Have fun. Yeah, I check out He Like Long. They make like awesome talk shows and like skits where I totally don't understand what they're saying. But I still watch it all the same.
Gib, can you do a pose with your head resting on your hand?
It wishes my command. And done. Long, I shall call you Long. That too was my childhood nickname. Gib, can you sing? Holy crap, your voice is unique. Never heard vocals like that before. What do you mean? My English is terrible. I apologize if it is. Adorable, says Lupo. Oh? What are your collections? What do you mean? Collections? Well, I don't collect stamps. I collect rocks from beaches that I visit. Of course, I can't view it. Hold on. I am a Fox, a content creator. Can you see well through your goggles? If I can pull it down. Oh, my menu is open. Wait, hold on. I mean, hold on. One quick glance at the groups. You know what? I'm just gonna accept. There we go. Can I see? I'm blind. Oh, no, I can see perfectly, guys. I actually need this when the sun's a bit too bright. But right now, let's go goggles up. Oh man, I didn't take you for a rock collector. Yes, I find the various colors, especially the textures of rocks, quite intriguing. Hello? Chinese person? I don't understand your name. I see a lot of the moon faces in it. Gib, can you make a post? I already did earlier. Let's try another one. Let's see. Oh. Hi there, Otmir. Welcome to the stream. Oh my, what happened? There we go. Thank you for the roses, Chaos. And what's this? Ameruri VTuber. Can you swim? Yes. Gail is asking, would you ever be open to collecting crystals, or would that be bad? I don't mind. I think crystals are still rocks, just prettier. Gib, are you a Therian or a furry? What does a Therian mean? What is your definition of that? We're going strong with 42 viewers. Wow. Yeah, Therian. Therian. I encountered that word before. I just don't remember. I don't remember what it means. Therian. What's a Therian, chat? It's furry but more complex. Does it involve math? Because I'm terrible at math. When you said complex, I immediately thought of equations. So it's like a human wearing a furry mask and a tail. No. I don't think. Is it the cool like the Japanese guys who like dress up as like wolves and then they like wear suits and stuff? Fandom in quotes. I don't know. I don't have a clear like understanding what Therians are though. Therian is furry, but you actually believe you're the animal. Oh no. Of course not. Of course not. No way. That is bizarre. I think I know what you're talking about. I've seen a guy who thinks he's a wolf, so he like walks on all fours and like he howls at the moon and said that's bizarre. If that's what you mean. Oh no, Long is saying that's not quite it. Doki says that's what a Therian is. We're receiving mixed answers here, chat. Therians are like they don't believe they're complete. Oh no, I absolutely love my human self. Super proud. Wait, you're making me break character. Let's not talk about that. What you're watching is Gebos. Hi there, Furun. Welcome to the stream. Okay, chat. Right. Therians are people that feel like they have a connection with an animal or two. Can be spiritual. Oh, okay. I guess it's like sort of like the Native Americans, like they have the whole spirit animal things. Well, if it isn't Glomps, welcome to chat. I shall now call you Greenwich Queen. Because you have a green like name in my chat. Hi there, good morning. I could really do with some pizza or lasagna. Can I get a discount? I'd like order right now. What's this? Doc is doing such a great job being a mod. Thank you. Puron, thank you for the I love yous. And thank you for the power hug, whose name I cannot read. Long says, going back to the topic, Therianthropy goes where towards mystical and what? And spiritual. We have Therians which believe their persona is a spirit animal. Otherkins which believe it's on a okay. That's like a whole different spectrum altogether, I guess. What's your favorite snack? Chicken sandwiches. Do you have a crush? No one specific. Kill it. What? We finally have J Prime. Guys, be careful. If you thought Doki was merciless, Jay here is a cold-blooded I'm just kidding. Jay is such a nice person. He's also a mod. Haven't seen Axiom in a while. Actually, I've been hanging out with him daily for the past few days. We were working on like some Unity stuff. I'm not sure if I talked about it on stream, but he's like working on some like plot physics, like making a cape. Complex. I guess what kind of furry I am, because I know you're gonna ask. I'm a little. Let's say I don't have a suit. The level before that, I like how they look. I think they're cute, and I don't mind having like an online what you see right now. Bye, Venus. Hold on, what's with the music? This isn't the desert music I've been expecting. Fantasy desert. Let's listen to this. Okay. There we go. MJW says, I'll be going for a bit. I'll be back soon. I hope the stream goes well. Thank you for the well wishing. Hi there, Raya. Justine. Venom sent a flower show. Ooh, cool. Thank you. That's 100 coins. Thank you so much. That was cute. How are you doing today, Venom? Sounds like you're about to storm an abandoned town. See. I wish there was a day-night cycle where I am, Gale. It would make the effect more dramatic. Oh my, am I stuck? Options, hold on. I don't know. I can move around is fine. It's like a prologue to an adventure game. How do the desert people like talk? Thank you for following my stream. Your patronage is most appreciated, traveler. My nickname. In these sandy lands, I am called Kepos with 2 B's, much akin to one of the faces of the moon. I don't know. I don't watch football. Yeah, I know. It sounds kind of Russian, I know. Brother sounded Moroccan for a second. Oh. You know, it's actually kind of hot. Can we see a full fit check? My friend. You will lay your eyes on my full form in a few days. For now, we shall keep it under the veil of secrecy. Eric J says, Hi, Gebus. How are you doing today? Good job with your voice impression. I actually don't know what impression I'm doing right now. I'm just being like stereotypically assumptuous. Like how they sound. What is the proper word? What VR headset are you using? I am using a Quest. I cannot read that. It's like Russian, yes, I know. Look at Toki. You give people a sword, they start swinging. There you go. Absolute decimation in chat going on. Guys, do you do not wanna get on the bad side of my mods? We're going strong with 40 viewers. Hello. Eggs. Oh, Jay, I promoted Doki to be our fourth mod. So it's you, D, Nika, and then there's Doki. Very happy you guys are helping me. I super appreciate it. Flute clones, eh? Eh, Vanessa Polygon, guys. Polygon Studios here, it would be what I was talking about earlier on where I got my face tracking. See, it's not paw like P-O, it's P-A-W, okay? So they're right here. You're gonna see them with a paw on the icon. They made the fantastic face tracking you're watching right now. They go the extra mile by making things really organic. See, when I smile, ears flutter a little bit. When I frown, they go down. What's nice is if you go to their Discord, they're very supportive when it comes to any of your inquiries. I myself have been working the back end a little bit by converting things to ARKit, and they didn't seem to mind. I hope you don't mind, Chalky and team. That's what I use for VTubing. But yeah. Fantastic job. Check it out. Also, this outfit, where I take this thing, is a modified version of the outfit, the Explorer's outfit for Nova Beast that they released in Gumroad just recently. Very fairly priced for what you get. Of course, I had to edit it to fit my character, so I hope you don't mind. And yes, also, I do have a Discord. It's where you guys can hang out. But there's a little treasure hunt when it comes to finding it. You have to first find my Twitch, and then on my Twitch would be the elusive link you guys are looking for. Carrie, hi there. You were asking for an invite last time. I did accept, but I'm not sure if I was doing VR yoga or taking pictures. Hi there. Polygon Studio says, of course we don't mind. We really like to see how people modify our assets. Well, you know what? I'm glad I actually bought the entire thing. Thank you. It's so cool. I really like it. Nice of you to offer the Substance Painter files as well. I wonder if there's gonna be assets to like complement the Explorer look. Like a lamp, a small like sling bag. It goes like from your shoulders, like into your side, right? You know how adventurers always have that little like sling satchel on the side. And then maybe a compass. And then if you want lights, a flare. Like, and then you just hold it, and then there's like red or like light you can change. That would be super cool for like exploring tombs and ancient ruins. They're Jollibee. Hello, everyone. How does it feel like being a furry? Oh no, luckily I don't have those. And even if I did get those negative things, I would remain unfazed. Thank you also for the power hug, by the way. I appreciate it. But yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited for Furality. I'm so thankful there were like assets that came out on Gumroad. Check out Polygon Studios. Again, they sell their stuff really cheap for something so fantastic. So I'm ready for the event in 6 days. 6 days. Yeah. Oh yeah, I also have a lamp. Let's see if it works. I do need to be in a dark environment though, but I think this looks well with the outfit. Now that's the coin. Items. Where did I put it? Oh, right. So we have a lamp. A lamp that I need to. Yeah. Obviously, you can't see the light being cast, but yes. Yeah. It runs out after 30 seconds though, so I have to have to constantly pull on it. I can also have it on my hand. Be cool. Oh, okay. Solar flare. What's that? Oh, you're a yellow dwarf star. Obviously, you talk about solar flares. It's forgivable. Whoa! Carrie sent hearts and chocolate. I saw that late. Thank you so much, man. I appreciate it. More for the Desert Water Fund. Guys, check out Karigaloo. They make fantastic TikToks. Much more exciting content than I do. I just do boring motivationals and ask me anything streams like these. Bye, Justine. You the best. No, no, no. I'm silly. I like to pretend that I'm in places. Last time you were streaming on live, you were with a bunch of friends. He's the only chill furry. Ah, yes. You see, there are many content creators out there that cater to the, let's just say, more adult-oriented crowd. You'd commonly find them with rather skimpy outfits and then commonly in a hot tub or pool. But that is a niche that they can like serve. I have a slice of something very different. You're so fucked. You're fun to be with too. We need to hang out again, Carrie. Are you going to furality, by the way? Either Vexel. Nope, I'm not sad. I'm assuming you've had your fill with like IRL cons. I forgot what it was. The one we were talking about with night shift last time. A yellow dwarf star says finally someone who's not insane. Am I not? Hmm. Oops. Hi there. This year plan is East. Euroforens, Floof, and Reference. I like the puns with the word fur. That is very true. Yellow Dwarf Fire, that is very true. Can I add you? Probably get to know each other first. Please do that shy pulse with my ears down. Thanks, Ajahn. Happy. You're welcome. Stay safe out there. Don't worry, I will be on the lookout for any star going super critical, alright? I hope you're having a good evening too, Darkspawn Wolf. What? When you do that pose, you should make your eyes big and make it cute. You mean sad? Like, that's a sad. And then... it's more like I'm scared. Thank you, Jay. Thank you, Doki. Gail says, how can we say no to a face like that? Oh, Gail? Please let me drive your Mercedes. Please give me your water bottle. Ah. What am I doing? Carrie, you're being silly. Okay. What would you do if someone harassed you? React accordingly depending on severity. Hi. Well, your name is Hi and you're saying hi. Ah, that's how you fling the coin. Okay, let's try that again. Okay. Ah. Yeah, boss, you have a big... Take a close look, Carrie. Is it not smooth? Thank you. The desert takes some getting used to. It may seem hot, but during the night it's actually very chilly. Do you have the sniffles? Ever since I went to this arid environment that you see me behind me? Yes, Gail, yeah. Bye-bye, fluttering breeze. Also, thank you for the extra hearts, Carrie. Oh, nice. Sending me supplies. Gonna go on an adventure. Hey there, Misty. Have to go. Bye-bye. You know, the stream was actually supposed to be a very short preview stream. You know how when you're traveling, you take a moment to sit and then just, rest a little bit. Excuse me. And then you just drink water, check chat. Well, that depends on what the question is, but sure. So, Misty, I'm doing okay. I am taking a break. Yes, this is a break day. I'm taking a break because I just finished my furality umbra stuff. Okay, I need to make a bit of an adjustments, like my little thing here, like clipping. What do you think about the hostile people within your community as of late? Oh, it's simple. B-A-N. And they're gone. Just don't let trolls and like negative people get to you. Because if you react, and that's what they want to see, right? That's how you let them win. If you pretend they don't exist, well, actually, they don't exist in my eyes, period. Then they shall have no effect or control over you. So, yes, I hope that answers your question. Of course. I'm gonna make this larger because it's actually hurting my. Here? Here? There. Now I can actually. Now I can actually see chat. Okay, so. I still have to make my JWT Kane and Umbra ready too. Only my Rex. Oh wow, you're going in multiple forms? Good thing I'm stuck to just... No, good thing I'm just with this one. What do you think of Proto? You know, I think I have 1 or 2 videos specifically answering that question of yours about Protogens. It's literally called About Protogens. Check my gallery. But summary is, I think they're cool. Theo Banai. You should probably charge your device. Wouldn't want to be stranded out there without a phone. Yeah. Yeah. Random fact, he ordered pizza and it just arrived there at 4 a.m. I wish I had pizza right now. Oh, even just a slice, right? Especially the ones with extra cheese on top. Ooh. Ah. Yeah, there we go. Thank you, Jay. Thank you, Doki. Oh, man. Like a sieve made out of titanium. They filter through chat so effectively. Doki holding no bars, yes. What's your favorite pizza? I hope you read my lips. Thank you, Doki. I don't know. What? One more what? One more time. My favorite cheap pizza is but I recently taken a liking into this thing called 5 cheese vegetarian pizza. Normally, I'm always on the whole just put everything on the pizza and then bring it to my house sort of deal. Like manager's choice or the belly buster, the overload, any of like the thing. But I have found joy in the vegan pizzas. It's so refreshing. Ham and pineapple. Yes, it is. Stick with it. You sound Russia. No. I suck at lip reading. Wa? Her? Ba? Oh. Opinion on only cheese pizza. Only if it's overloaded with cheese. Can still taste the pineapple. Congratulations. I have nothing at the moment. I'm gonna cook some spicy chicken again later, and I'm gonna make a nori wrap out. It's like red rice, spicy chicken, a bit of sesame oil, and then over like a square seaweed sheet. Roll it up. Delicious. Best of all, no plates to clean. Cheapy Pinky says, I will order VR this month. I'm so happy. I just played VR chat. Oh, that's gonna be an enormous upgrade. Playing VR chat on a small device? Yep. Yes, Gail, you walked into that. Oh, there we go. That locks my body in one place. No twisty. What's this? Ivan says, oh hi, I just watched a furry TikTok compilation. Then a bunch of furry TikTok. And now you. Thank you. I really appreciate the third place. Happy birthday. That was last week. My birthday was last week. Hiroto, I wish I could understand. I'm assuming is kanji, but I can't. Yellow Dwarf, I thought you were going. Happy late birthday. Thank you so much, MJW. Oh, what the hell? Whoa. Keelan is sending me so much stuff. Happy Pride Month. Chocolate coffee fire. Ooh, let it rain. Oh, Long, why are you here on TikTok now? You went to your phone, didn't you? Have I happy birthday you? I don't know. On my Twitter, I posted a picture of my cake. Well, I took a bite of my cake, so forgive me if it's not whole. But yeah, I took a picture of my cake. There was a candle and there was a little writing. My birthday was last week, May 25. Do you know any other languages? I speak English and Tagalog. You're first in my eye. Oh, Gaia. Keep that up. We're gonna fill up that water bottle of yours with more stuff to hydrate you with. Thank you, Potato Foxy. Hey, what do you know? Potato Foxy is here. Yes, happy Pride Month, guys. It doesn't matter if you're straight or not. You have friends out there who are within the spectrum of color. Send them some love. Come on. They're having a tough time in today's society, you know. People can be a little mean, can be a little judgmental, so a little reaffirmation, you know, goes a long way. Yes, I did like the wholesome video you posted. I was surprised. Let me guess, that was the same studio we were in, huh? Though the last stream I was in, Potato Foxy, I saw you wearing a rather snug-fitting lower garment and you were in water along with other friends. Guys, check out Potato Foxy if you want the niche that I was talking about you earlier. I love eating grass. You would make good friends with a lot of dairy animals, cows in particular. Yellow Dwarf, I don't know. My mods might just, you know, they have like really itchy fingers. What's your favorite animal? Oh wait, no, I'm not an animal. I don't know. I kind of like all of them except things that creep me out, like flying cockroaches and, you know. I like dogs and cats. Oh, Doki starting to show her horns. Gab, do you still need help with Dickfinity? I knew it! Excuse me. I knew I forgot something. So I'm sorry. I was preparing, like, I was dealing with so much asset stuff in Unity and, like, Blender the past few days. It completely, like, flew over my head. And I wrote it down too. Oh, shame on me. But actually, the thing I want from Tickfinity, if they have it, is like on-stream alerts and maybe a little chat box here. That's it. I don't want so much clutter in my stuff to preserve the cinematic effect of my streams. Right, Gail? And that you know what's more powerful than a yellow dwarf star? Mods with power. Message me on Discord, Potato Foxy VR. I'm gonna remember. I'm gonna add you up on Discord, right? No, I'm gonna remember. Oh, look at Doki with that iron fist of hers. I'm gonna be going now, says MJW. Hey, sure, thank you for hanging out in my stream. You have an amazing evening too. Catch you next time. Hello, Sophia. Potato Foxy. You know what? I'm gonna do it right now because I tend to forget things. So let's open Discord. Let's go here. Let's add people, add friends to DM. I just set it up. How do I add people? Potato Foxy VR. Diyan. Of course I clicked the wrong menu. There we go. Such a... How do I add people? Friends? Add friend. There we go. Okay, let's type it again. POTATOFOXYERP. Oh, sorry, VR. There we go. Send friend. Your flash reveal has been accepted. Okay, where was I? I hope I did not obscure my layout. I have returned. Nothing could distract us from your face. Later. Hi, Geb. I just graduated, says Axel. Congratulations, Axel. What is it, Long? Did I miss chat? I'm sorry, I was alt tab, so I totally couldn't see what was in chat for the past 30 seconds. Hi, Sophia. Oh, wow. That's quite the number of likes. 13,000? Oh, no. I'm in danger. Yes, you are. It lagged a little bit. Maybe it's on your end. Your connection, possibly. Can I join? You are already in chat, Kyle? Well, Kylie. You have to boot me in VR. Huh? Huh? What do you think of Plague Doctors? I think the aesthetic is cool. Who is that SCP? I forget. Either Justine. Alan. SCP-049. Ah, yes. His eternal quest for the cure. What games do you play when you're bored? This past week, I haven't played anything, but you will commonly find me playing maybe management games or things with guns and cannons that can blow stuff up. Battlefield. Gebus, are you tired of making live streams every day? Maybe I should stick to every other day. Promising every day and then disappointing you guys but by not showing up, it tugs on my heart. So maybe like twice or thrice during weekdays. And on weekends, you will get your VR chat streams. I'm actually supposed to be in full body, but alas, I am resting my rather achy tendons because I kinda overdid the yoga and the workout the other day. Thank you, Gail. I appreciate it. Hi there, Abilita. Abuelita, rather. This is tiring doing live streams every day, yeah. Are you bulking, Kuya Geb? Actually, yes. And then I'm gonna go like doing cutting. Oh, a math question. Oh dear. That is one of the express tickets to yes. Oh my, oh my, oh my. And thank you. Ah, so sweet. Thank you, Doki. Also, thank you, Playing Doctor. Wow. Yes. I love the colors. Thank you. I too like the colors, even though a chatter said I don't mesh well with the desert. But you can't exactly change everything about you, can you? So pardon if my black and blue scheme doesn't fit this arid environment I am in. Yeah, but you're gonna be live later during the night. What time is it? I have chat. What time is it in like +8 GMT in the Philippines? Because all of my stuff isn't working. I just have one window that's where it reads chat. 10:38. Probably. Probably. Do you guys enjoy this little desert AMA stream? Better than the studio ones I've been doing? Let me know. Fluttering Breeze says they do. Right. Usually when I do half-body streams like these, it's more of a lo-fi chill sort of stream, but now I brought something different. And I would appreciate the feedback. Gail says as long as it's you. Yes. Virtual Anubis vibe. That's actually pretty cool. Thank you. Thank you for the support report. As long as you're talking in it, I'll watch it. Oh. I wonder if should I make a bunch of like cue cards next time which have questions? No, I should save that for when I have guests on stream. How do you see the chats through the headset? You see the wonders of VR lets you put things floating in the world space. So in front of me would be a floating window. You know how it is in anime, where they say menu, inventory, system, and then stuff like floats in front of them? That's how it is to me. Yes, essentially. It's pretty cool. And the thing is, you can grab the windows and move it and whatnot. Gail says you could do some FAQs and then work out some talking points if you want. I thought you wanted to see me like doing like my exercises. Is your character new? Nope. Same Gebus. Probably just the clones. Look, I'm not used to this desert environment, okay? So, the sand, it makes my nose itchy. Yes, that's why I have these things. Protects my eyes. I can't put it over my nose because I can't breathe. Well, breathing through your mouth is terrible. It dries it out. Boyabunda, yeah, that's yes. I like this one. It's not Indian. Come on, use your ears a little bit. Use your eyes as well. What do you see behind me? Where do you think I am? I am in the dunes. Here, let me give you a better view. Here. Now you can see my background, right? It's a lot of sand here. Sand, there's like ruins behind me, and yeah. No, this is a completely different planet. Yeah. I'll never get used to this place. Oh, I see Piano Ghoul joining the stream. Oh my. Another super duper popular friend of mine. The water spew out. That's... Let's see if I can tickle my nose. Huh? Oh, God. Come on. I heard popular where? See, piano goal. I say the word popular. Piano goal immediately comes out from like the shadows. Hi there, piano. How do you do it? How do you do the streams where you can like, who's the cute little boy, huh? Huh? Boop. I can't. Hold on. I need to recharge after doing that. You guys are so good at it. I can't. But yes, guys, check out Piano Ghoul. So much good content. If you want some cute stuff, comfortable, reaffirming stuff, they're the people to go to. My last stream was quite same here. I had like 7 viewers. Now that what do you know? I've decided to turn on my device and stream to you guys while I am in the middle of traveling. I will arrive in my destination in 6 days, which is furality. Are you going to furality, Piano? Your suit is adorns. Oh, um, thank you. I will be, yeah, awesome. Gotta look the part. Okay, what's happening in chat? Where are you going? Furality. I need a coin tug. Very cheap. Perfect for furality. Oh. Where is furality? Where? In VRChat. What is with the music? I kind of don't like it. One sec. Oh, it says caravan. Let's skip. Crusader solo. Intriguing. Can you show us the map? Even I do not know what that land would be like. I've only seen glimpses of it, but the exact layout, I have no idea. Perhaps it's something similar to where I am. So I'm lost. I'm maybe. Yes, Coral, thank you. Look, I know the general direction of where it is, okay? They told me to, hey, dress up and anticipate that it's gonna be a arid place. There's gonna be lots of sun. Good luck, I know. I'm gonna need every bit of it. It's my first time traveling there, and it's essentially unknown territory to me. You see, a mysterious stranger who I know is a higher power snuck in and gave me a pass so I can go to this said event. Now, how could I say no when I've been sponsored? Are you gonna go live? Most definitely am. I asked permission and they said yes. Oh, what's that? A heart me. Thank you, Linho. Coral says, don't say thank you like that. You're gonna make me die of cute. What do you mean? Is there a peculiar way in me expressing my gratitude? The plane probably crashed, and now it's left with a compass and no sense of direction. Maybe. If you're in the desert, how do you have internet and signal? Look, I don't know how this place works, and I'm not gonna question the powers that, govern this place. I'm just happy my device is able to open this communication interlink to you guys. Hmm. Ah! It's so hot. Why is it so hot today? Normally it's okay. You eat in your own my honor? I'm a judge? It's a little prince reenact. Geb, do you only use a fan? I use more than a fan. Oh, wow. Ice cream. Thank you. I want ice cream. Thank you, Maud. Ah. Say good day in Filipino. Magandang excuse me. Magandang umaga, magandang hapon, magandang araw sa inyong lahat. Alam kong mainit ngayon at sana umulan. Yung tama lang, hindi bumagyo. Cat was wondering what I said is I wish you all a good day, and I know it's really hot. I wish it would rain but not storm up. Guys, let's speak in English in chat, okay? I don't mind slipping in Filipino every now and then, but we have to be considerate about our foreign viewers. Gail, that would help if you were to shed a bit of your garment so you feel more refreshed. Aren't you afraid of sandstorms? I'm ready. Why is the music on Twitch so weak? Is it? Good call. There. It should be more balanced now. Ah. Is it way too loud on TikTok? Is it overpowering my voice? Chat, please let me know. How do I adjust that? No, it isn't a 100%. Whatever level is on Twitch is the same as here on TikTok. Ah, my nose is so itchy. Is it a bit loud? Really? Should I set it lower? Alright, I can do that. Oh, I like the music. Hey, there. I can barely hear it though. I can really barely hear it. Can't hear you. There we go. Sorry. There, how about now? I should be back. I can see my microphone thingamajiggy working. Thank you. Oh my. Do you have any powers? Interesting. That's for you to find out. I use them when it's needed. I'm ready. What? What do you mean, Coral? What? I just lied for 1 second. Do you have an allergy? Not that I know of. It's just this. Maybe it's the peculiar environment I'm in. The sand's a little fine. It goes straight up to my my nose. Tato Foxy is still hanging on around in my stream. Wonder what they're up to. Sand is delish. No, it's not. Especially if it gets into your socks. Thank you for the ice cream. Kuya didn't allergy anything. Oh, sand does not taste good. Good morning, Neon. Mareal daw, tabi. What is your weakness? Oh, wow. You just want me to... Oh, okay. Here's one weakness I have. Thigh highs. Choker. Especially in lovely ladies. Oh. But actual vulnerabilities? Why would I say that? What? It's through a donkey. Do you not in that way, Ricky? Okay. Are you a Nova Beast as well? That's quite the confession. Hey, look nice. That's why I have goggles, because when like there's someone with really nice long legs that passes by, and they have thigh highs, ooh, just enough to show a little bit of skin. I just need. Greetings, traveler. Good luck with your journey. Yeah. Shh. Thigh high big shirt. Did you spit? No, I sneezed. Yeah. Ah. Oh, Tomo, you just had to ask a math question. Oh boy. You just had to ask a math question. You're welcome, Hale. Oh, I mean, happy birthday. You're welcome. It's my birthday. You're welcome. What? We're going strong with 31 viewers. Wow. I don't know why my sneeze is tiny. Bye, Fluttering Breeze, for the second time. I just heard my dog say bless you when I cough. I don't even own a dog. You're probably not even watching a real stream. You should wake up. Cook that rice. Serve that juice. I'm gonna play Mobile Legends. Good luck with that. Get that win. I don't know why I needed to know that your toothbrush broke in half, but... Panda's asking, are your movements random or does it really move with you? It moves with me. Yes. What? What? Oh, excuse me. What do you do for a living while traveling? That's a secret. Have you watched Kaiju number 8? I read the manga. Watch the anime? I should. Can I dance? You know, funny enough, I tried dancing once last week. Because I have a friend who worked in my workout buddy, Mechatronic Dragon. He's an avid dancer for years. So I went with him to the VR dancing studio. I tried dancing and oh boy, I scored maybe a 1 out of 10. Hi there, Max. Thank you for the rose, Loki. Nova Beast Brother. Hey! If I could just make out what your thumbnail is and get a better idea of what you look like, that would be cool. But yes, welcome to the stream. Welcome to Not Arrakis. Oh boy. Thanks for the follow, Blue Music. Oh, I'm getting thirsty again. Wow. Yeah. I love your Abby. Thank you. I wonder if I should just completely stay in character from now on. Or just, nah. The 50-50 ratio kind of works. Maybe in furality. Let's try that. By the way, guys, did you know if you subscribe to me here on TikTok, you will unlock usage of all of my emotes that's available on Twitch? Last week I uploaded everything I had, all of the emotes I use on my Discord server, on my Twitch, here on TikTok. Yeah, I have... How it works? Well, that's for you to discover. Yes, what Doki said, the VR headset. And you know, actually, Doki, I'm not using my FPT at the moment. That's why I'm in portrait mode. Then quench died first. Yes, Gale. Alright, it's time for a hydration break. If you can tell, my throat is starting to sound a bit hoarse and dry. Have you surfed? Yes, I have. I did terrible. Where is it? I finished my Korean ice wine earlier. That's not an option. Where is it? Hello? Okay, there it is. Wow. How does your ear move? How do your eyes blink? Answer that question and you get the answer you seek. Let me just check which. Surely who. Alright, let's go read chat again. Hi there, Lorax. What? What's that? Huh. Oh, we've hit the 2-hour mark. I should probably end the stream at this point. I can always just continue later. Also, I need to get going. Maybe when I stream later, I'll be at a new spot. Who knows? I'll definitely be in a desert though. Oh, what's with the music? So one I was listening to earlier. Yeah, the Crusader solo. There we go. Alright, I shall hang on for 3 more minutes. Welcome back, attacking. I really need to get going. 3 minutes. I shall give you 3 minutes, and I shall resume my journey. Okay, what did I miss in chat? I'm reading it right now. What was your breakfast? I had some spicy chicken and a seaweed roll with pickled radish and red rice in it. Very delicious. Ah. Good line. I hope you live again. Most definitely. Now, why are you calling me chat? Because you are chat. You guys are chat. No, not in the desert. Can you riz that? What was your first question? Can you riz us? Gebus, are you taken? Gebus is not. He likes mingling with a lot of people. Oh my god, Nova Beast. From someone whose username I am unable to read. Hi there. Hello, Kay, and hello, Jane. Lepokpok si Gebus. No! So I'm sorry, I have a friend who's... Right. Give me a Nova hole. Your scarf is good. Yes, it is. What? Show us around furality when you get definitely 100% gonna stream. Though my trackers only last like 8 hours each and I have to like go on 2-hour breaks, so of course I can't be in VR 24 hours. My controllers are gonna die, my trackers are gonna die. But I will be there at least 16 hours per day. Or 12. If I wake up. I still have to cook food. Hey, thank you for the follow. Oh boy. Can you show us your house? You see, that's the thing. I don't have one. I kind of just travel around. Oh, I mean, yeah, there's that. I thought you were talking about like here. No, why will I show my apartment? I do have a small pool of friends that have seen my apartment. Most definitely. Hey, hold on. It's been 3 minutes. Okay, chat. Thank you for tuning in. I really need to like get going and make progress today. Maybe I'll see you again in around 8 to 10 hours. Who knows? I wouldn't want to bore you with my rather empty scenery behind me. But yes. Thank you for tuning in. I'll keep you guys posted with my progress. I'll catch you maybe this evening. And yeah, thank you. Wait, how do I do this? How do I do this? Ah, so hot. Alright. Bye everyone.
Hello.
And as for my Twitch friends, hello. Thank you for tuning in. I know Gail is there. She's one of my most active chatters. Heck, we even talk when we're off stream. She shares really interesting stories about her experiences in the past with regards to saxophone related incidents. But yes, with that, I'll catch you later. I have some traveling to do. Bye-bye.